Are Saudi Arabian teams good enough to beat European teams? Is Cristiano Ronaldo still good enough to play in Europe? These are many questions that people have been asking ever since the Saudi Arabian League really popped off. I thought to myself, hey, there's an easy way for us to answer this question. All we gotta do is grab Nassr, who has Cristiano Ronaldo, and put them in the Premier League to compete against some of the best teams in Europe. Because let's be honest, the Premier League is a fire league. Now, for us to make this have happened properly, we had to remove one team from the Premier League to bring Nassr in. So Sheffield United was actually in last place in the Premier League as I was making this video. So we replaced them with Nassr, and now Nassr will be competing in the Premier League to see how they do. So as you can see from the team sheet, Cristiano Ronaldo's return to the Premier League is finally here. But he's not by himself. Mane, the ex-Liverpool man, is back in the Premier League. Otavio, the man that used to play in the Portuguese league, is back in Europe. Talisca, who used to play for Benfica in the European League, is back. Welcome back to Europe. Also, Bro is back in Europe as well, as long as Alex Telles and Laporte. So many players that used to play in Europe are back in European competitions with the Premier League. Now, since we're taking control of Nassr, I still kept the same manager, the Portuguese manager. But as I look at the team, I think to myself, is there much I want to change? Not really, because we want to see if the Nassr team that is real team from real life can compete in the Premier League. Are we happy with the starting 11? I say yes. And as I look at this starting 11, when I get to the subs and the reserves is when I start to think to myself, is this team actually good enough to start beating European teams? It's a question that a lot of people some say yes and some will say no. You got to really think about it and go back and forth and really base it on, you know what I mean, your ball knowledge. And the truth is, I don't know. Do I think they could beat some European teams? I do. Do I think they could beat the best European teams? I'm not so sure about that for Nassr, but I do think they could compete in Europe for sure. So this is the starting 11 that Nassr will run for most of the year. I'm not going to control too much. All I'm going to do is go ahead and run it to the January transfer window. And once we get there, then we'll be able to look back and see how many goals Ronaldo scored, how many assists Mane has, who's performing, who's not. Are we sacked yet? Are we fired? Are we going back to Saudi Arabia with no silverware? We're going to know all those questions, and we'll be able to take a look at it around January time. Hey, man, I need you guys to remember, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to hit that big old thumbs up. It lets me know you're enjoying the videos. And also, if you want to subscribe, that's cool. In the comments down below, let me know what team we should rock out with next. What team we taking over next, lads? Before we really get into the action, I want to quickly show you that the month of August, Nassr's first test is going to be the biggest test of them all. They're going to face Man City just on their third game of the year. Literally 2023 kicks off and they have to play Man City right off the jump. And as you go to the second month, they're going to see Newcastle and Spurs and Everton with West Ham. That's no walk in the park September. When we move to October, they're going to see Fulham, Manchester United, and Arsenal. I feel like I said Manchester United weird. Man United and Arsenal all in the same month. That's just October. We get into November when they're going to see Wolves in a much more competible. They got more of a chance in November, in my opinion. I think this is a month where they kind of have a chance to do something nice. December, they're going to see Chelsea, Man City once again, Liverpool for the first time, and they get the Bs. It's not going to be easy. We then move into January where there's not much happening there. They'll see Crystal Palace and West Ham to end it off. So a very, very packed half of a year that we're about to witness. Let's see how they do. I've actually decided to change it up a little bit. I've already gone through a couple months with them, and I want to go back and take a look at what's going on and what's not going on. So we're going to head back to the beginning of the season, where the season starts off with a draw against Crystal Palace. But then they pick up their first win 2-0 and start to get things going in the right direction. That doesn't last long because they quickly get kicked out of the cup on penalties. But they quickly redeem themselves when they play against one of the biggest teams in the Premier League named Man City and beat them 2-1. So when you look at it, it's kind of like they're getting their feet wet in Europe, and they did okay, to be honest, for the month of August. But as you jump into the month of September, things really start taking a turn for the worst. Everton's going to see them and destroy them at 3-1. They're then going to tie the Spurs at 2-2. They're going to lose to to Newcastle, and also tied to West Ham. So they literally got no wins in the month of September. This was an awful month. I'm not sure how you beat Man City and don't pick up any more points since then. Anyways, we move on to the month of October where we are now, where they'll face Fulham, Manchester United, and Arsenal. And if they really don't get it together, they could be in a position of getting relegated in the Premier League. So let me check in back with you guys once we know what happens in the month of October. I guess the month of October, the scariest thing is not Halloween for Al Nassr. The scariest thing is getting a win because these guys are afraid of winning, bro. As you guys can see, they tied to Fulham. They didn't lose to Manchester United and then tied to Arsenal. Al Nassr is having an absolute awful time in the Premier League. And when I say awful, I mean horrendous. They are most likely going to get relegated if they keep up this behavior. And I don't know if Ronaldo, I don't think he's ever been relegated. No, I know for a fact he's never been relegated on any team he's played for. So we are about to see history. We got November, where this is a month I told you in the beginning of the video, is a month that Al Nassr should really do well. So I will see you guys on November 30th to see if I was right or if my ball knowledge is just strictly mudded. I guess my ball knowledge is not terrible because at least they won a game. They win a game 3-1, but then they tied 2 games in a row. Going into December, they need a lot of things to go their way right now, bro, because it is not looking good. And I want to take a second to just step back and check out the standings for Al Nassr. So right now, Al Nassr in the Premier League has won 3 matches, tied 7, and lost 3. So realistic, it's not that they're losing a ton of games, it's that they're tying a ton of games. They are sitting in 12th place right now with only 16 points, where the first place team is Manchester United on 30 points, and then Liverpool on 29. So things are really not disastrous for Al Nassr, but at the same time, that's way too many ties, so maybe it is disastrous. As we move on, I definitely need to see what's going on with the team. Who's not scoring? Who's not performing? Who needs to go? Who's not actually doing what they're supposed to do? Well, let's quickly take a look at that. As you guys can see, the stats are going to be for goals, Ronaldo. Okay, Ronaldo has picked 8 goals in 14 games in the Premier League, and I would say that's pretty good, especially for a team that is struggling. My boy Talisca has picked himself up 4 and then picking up 2 assists, and Ronaldo with 3. The top assist person in the Premier League or for Al Nassr right now is Otavio, Cristiano Ronaldo, Talisca, and Mane is only 4 for 2. I would personally say that Mane with only 4 goals and 2 assists is probably the weak link right now. I expect a lot more out of Mane. I know how good this player is. We know how good this player is in the Premier League, and I just think that's not good enough. I'm going to quickly take a look at the team sheet to see if there's any changes I can make. I've decided to play around with the team a little bit and have Ronaldo and Talisca together at the striker position, leaving Otavio and Mane out on the wing. And the midfield kind of looking maybe a little bit better. You know what I actually should do here? I'm actually going to do a 4-4-2, but I'm going to do a different 4-4-2. I'm going to change them into a 4-4-2 defensive formation. Now, I don't know if this is cheating or not because obviously we're just supposed to see how Al Nassr does in the Premier League, but I'm going to go into some little managerial decisions, I can't speak, and try to make this team a little bit better, okay? So, the team now lines up like this with Otavio and Mane, 2 defensive mids, 2 strikers, and hopefully they do better in the Premier League. Let's find out. A change of formation, hopefully at the right time, because December sees Liverpool, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Man City, plus the Bees. It is going to be potentially a disastrous month. Let's find out. I would say a much better month. Yes, they got destroyed by Man City 5-1, but they won 4 games and they lost 3. Well, lost 2 and tied 1. But in that run, they lost to City and Liverpool, which is okay, and a tie to the Bees, which is okay. They got a big win against Chelsea, big win against Aston Villa, and then won 2 other games. So realistically, the changes at the in the manager room, it worked. I was right. The 4-4-2 defensive really helped Al Nassr pick up some victories. So December could have been much worse. I would say it's probably been their best month, even though it was their hardest month. Big games coming up here in January where they can really turn their season around. So let's see how January goes for them. Things are not looking good for the manager as his job is on the line now. They got a win against Crystal Palace. They won 2 games, they tied 1, and they lost 1. But the game they lost saw them go out of a cup, which is never a good thing. No silverware looks like it's on the way to Al Nassr, but I do got to be honest with you. They are definitely bouncing back in the Premier League nicely, starting to pick up good wins, and I could see that maybe end in the top 10, which is nice. They got a big February coming up with Aston Villa once again, who they beat this year, and also playing Wolves. I feel like they need to go 4-0 this month if they really want to make something happen. Ronaldo, time to really step it up, lad. Things took a turn for the worst in February. Aston Villa beat them, Wolves beat them, and 2 ties, lads. This is going bad for Al Nassr. Maybe they're not ready for England. Maybe they're not ready for Europe. But at the moment, they are in 11th position, picking up 7 losses, 11 draws, and only 8 wins. Everything is going bad for Al Nassr. Everything is going bad for Arsenal. Everything is going bad for Spurs. And everything is going bad for Chelsea. When you see Arsenal and Spurs and Chelsea right there with Al Nassr right behind them, you start to think, you know what, that's not that bad. Especially for the fact that if Al Nassr can beat Arsenal, they could jump a lot of people. And that's the next game on the calendar. So it's going to be an interesting next month that's coming up. But the manager might lose his job before we even get there. I mean, look at this month. Arsenal, Manchester United, Fulham. It ain't gonna be easy the month of March. Let's see how it goes. Loss, draw, loss, loss. This is not a fun experience for Al Nassr. And at this point, there has been 2 interviews dropped by Cristiano Ronaldo. There has been a lot of rumors of him leaving. Look, his name is popping up on the side. Nah, bro, there's no way that man is happy. It's impossible. We got the month of April and the month of May to end it off. April, Chelsea. April, Liverpool. April, Newcastle. I'll see you on April 30th to see how it went. I think we're starting to get to the point where we understand that the Premier League might be a little bit too hard for Al Nassr. 2-1 to Liverpool, 2-1 to Chelsea, 3-1 to Newcastle. Yes, they beat the Bees, but as you guys can see, the manager's job is at big time risk. There's 3 games left in the season, and I'm just hoping that he can make it to the end of the season so we can see exactly what takes place. But Al Nassr right now is in 14th position. I don't think that they're going to get relegated. 13 draws, 13 losses, 9 wins is where they stand. Top of the table, Liverpool with 74, Manchester United with 67, Man City with 66, Newcastle with 61, and Aston Villa with 58. Arsenal down in 9th, Chelsea down in 8th, Spurs down in 7th. Absolutely unbelievable season that we are seeing here. And I mean unbelievable, not in a good way. When we look at the stats for the club, when it comes to goals, Ronaldo put up 14 at his age. That's a lot. Talisca put up 14 at his age. That's a lot in the Premier League. With 4 assists for Talisca, 6 for Ronaldo. Mane went 9 goals with 7 assists. And Otavio went 4 goals with 3 assists. The top assist person here at Al Nassr is Mane with 7, Ronaldo with 6. Ronaldo being the MVP he is, let's just be honest, scoring a lot of goals and getting a lot of assists in a very hard league at his age is just massively impressive. 39 years old, by the way. So big ups to Cristiano Ronaldo. We got 3 games remaining to see if hopefully the Al Nassr manager does not get fired. But I really, really would love to see how the season ends. Listen, if there's one bright thing to say about the season, they beat Spurs on the last day of the season. So congratulations to Al Nassr on picking up a win to end the season. But they lost to Forest and they lost to Everton to end the season. It was not a good campaign for Al Nassr in the Premier League. Trust me, not at all. The manager somehow makes it to the end of the campaign. He got lucky. They end 14th, coming in right behind Crystal Palace and right above Forest. But the rest of the league, I mean, it just wasn't good for them. Manchester United 3rd, Man City 2nd, and Liverpool in 1st place. Congratulations to Liverpool and Klopp on his final season with Liverpool raising the trophy. Newcastle comes in 4th. Aston Villa comes in 5th. West Ham in 6th with Spurs and Arsenal in 7th and 8th. Pretty crazy, the downfall of Arsenal this season. Also, Chelsea ended in 10th place. Very interesting. In the FA Cup, well, Fulham walked away with a massive victory over Arsenal, so no silverware for Arsenal there. You go to the Energy Cup, where Manchester United raised it, I think, in back-to-back seasons. I think they won it last year, but they beat Aston Villa in a big final. Congratulations to Man United. The Super Cup went to Man City over Sevilla. Congratulations to the Blues. You move to the Champions League, where Arsenal did make a final, even though they had a disastrous Premier League. And they played Real Madrid, where Real Madrid beat them on penalties 4-2 after tying the game 1-1. Congratulations to Real Madrid on another Champions League victory. You go to the Europa League, where Sporting from Portugal wins it. Congratulations to... No. I'm a Benfiquista. I can't say that. Whatever. We move. We move on to the Conference League, where Fenerbahce from Turkey is going to pick up a big win there. And that, my friends, is pretty much how the season ended. But we must check on Cristiano Ronaldo's stats to end the season. In his last 3 games, was he able to add anything to his tally? Talisca put up 15 and 14 and 4. Cristiano Ronaldo put up 14 and 6. Talisca with less games than Ronaldo by a lot, to be honest. Mane with 9 and 8. And it was, once again, as we talked about, just not a good season for Al Nassr and Mane and Talisca and Ronaldo. Based off what EA says, Al Nassr is not good enough to compete in a European league like the Premier League. But let's be honest, the Premier League is a tough league. The big question is this: did the manager do enough to keep his job? I would probably say no. This probably won't come to you as a surprise, as we are not satisfied with the team results. We have failed to achieve numbers and our objectives, falling short. We were hoping, okay, am I fired or do I get to go one more season? Oh my goodness. You're giving me another season? Al Nassr is giving the Portuguese manager another season after that disastrous Premier League? What am I witnessing? Wow, shout out to Al Nassr. The squad for season 2 would remain the same. Literally, most players, I believe, are exactly the same. No one really left. No one really came in. Looks like everybody's locked up pretty much when it comes to contracts. I guess we can see how they do in season 2. I mean, as you guys can see, the manager's job is big time at risk. So what we'll do is not make no changes. And I will see you guys in January this time for sure. Or I will see you guys when the manager gets fired. One or the other. I will see you soon, though. I have watched a lot of takeovers in my time. I mean, a lot. And what I am witnessing with Al Nassr in the Premier League is one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I'm going to take you back to the month of December, where they picked up only 1 win that entire month. Everything was a loss or a draw. We go to the month of November, where they don't even see a win. The best thing they could do was get a tie against Aston Villa. We move into the month of October, where they pick up only 1 win again. We move into the month of September, where they beat 1 team and it was Spurs. Everything else was a loss and some bad ones as well. We move into the month of August, where they pick up no wins, only 1 draw. And we move into the month of July, where obviously nothing took place. We go to the standings. The manager's surely going to get fired now. And Al Nassr is fighting relegation against Leicester City and Norwich. They are in trouble. They are in big time trouble. Brighton just outside of the relegation zone, but surely the manager will not make it to the end of the season. And surely Al Nassr is on their way to relegation in the Premier League. It is not looking good for this club at all. We move to the stats. Why is it going so poorly? Mane with 6 goals in 20 games and Ronaldo with 5. Talisca also with 5, but Ronaldo now almost 40 years old. The top assist guy at the club, Otavio, Ali, Bro, and then Cristiano Ronaldo. It feels like Ronaldo's doing a lot for his age, but still no help around him. Surely this manager will not make it to the end of the season. Surely he will get fired very quickly. So right now, get in the comments down below and let me know what month he makes it to. Will it be for February, March, April, or May? Where will he get fired? I am saying in the next month. Let's find out. I'll see you at the end of the season. Luis Castro has been let go. It took about another month. Like I said, it was a month. I mean, it literally happened on 2/9, bro. It literally happened right away. He has been let go. He has been let go, lads, because he was going to get sacked. It's just he was going to get relegated. The truth is they were going to get relegated. There was no chance that they were making it out of relegation zone. They hadn't won a game since I last showed you. So Al Nassr lasted a season and a half in the Premier League, pretty much 2 seasons. And in the second season, they get relegated. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this is nonsense? Do you think Al Nassr could compete way better in the Premier League? And if you do, let me know what position you think they would end in. Top 6, maybe top 10, top 15, or would they get relegated? The game has them getting relegated. I would love to know what you think. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy, and let me know if we should do Inter Miami in the Premier League. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Booyah, we out of here.